Vanakkam and welcome to Soundu Talks. Let's continue with the public speaking series video. Public speaking is a learnable skill and the only prerequisite that you require here is your time. Let's jump into today's video. The first hurdle that everybody faces in our journey of public speaking is the fear of public speaking. The fear of public speaking is called as glossophobia. Like everybody faces this, right? You feel very nervous, your hands are very shaky, you feel like butterflies in your stomach when you go on the stage. Hold on, I have felt all of this in my life. You are right, you feel the fear of public speaking. Yes, so let's look into tips and tricks on how we can actually overcome the fear of public speaking in this whole video. Okay, before looking into tips and tricks, why do we actually get a fear of public speaking? Let's look into that. The first reason that most of us get a fear of public speaking is that what will somebody think about us? What will that person think about me if I talk about this? What will this person think about me if I talk about this? This is the first reason. The second reason is that what will happen if I fail? So what will happen if I go to stage and if I just stammer, if I just blabber something and come? What will happen if I ask the wrong question in the wrong time? What will happen if I just ask the right question in the wrong time? These kind of fear running in our head can also make sure that we have a fear to talk on stage. The third reason is that sometimes we might feel like I don't have any ideas or I don't have any discussion topics that are worth sharing. So these are the three reasons that we get fear of public speaking. So let's look into step-by-step tips and methods on how we can overcome these. Come on, let's overcome this together. All of us have stories to tell to the world, ideas to share with the world. But let's not make fear stop us from sharing our thoughts with the world. Alright, so let's look into tips one by one. Tip number 1. Practice, practice and practice. Practice makes a man perfect. We all know that, right? So practice your topic, practice your speech a lot of times before you go to the big stage. Yes, practice is very much important like your big show itself. I love the famous quote told by Bruce Lee. I don't fear the person who knows 10,000 kicks, but I fear the person who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That is how it means. Practicing one speech so many times, if you practice that one single thing so many times, you will be the master of it. So practice your speech. You can do it. Tip number 2. Do not memorize. This is the first mistake that I did in my whole journey of public speaking. I used to write my whole script and memorize each and every part, each and every word by word, even the pauses. This is a wrong approach of public speaking. So whenever you're practicing your script, do not memorize your script itself. But instead, write your subtopics, write your headings as hints and look into that. Okay, first I'll tell my personal story, then I'll connect it with an example, then I'll tell the core message of my speech and then I'll complete my speech. And whenever you're telling any personal stories, make sure that you don't tell a scripted personal story. Instead, you relieve your personal story from your heart with all its emotions. Then only it will reach your audience. Tip 3. Stage fright. Everybody undergoes stage fright, right? You have only 5 minutes to go next on stage and you have some competition and you are going to be the next contestant. You're going to ask some question. We have that butterfly feeling in our stomach. Oh my God, we're going to forget everything because we are having to do that best presentation ever possible. Everybody undergoes these kinds of stage fright, right? So how do we overcome these kinds of stage fright? Yes, it is possible to overcome these kinds of stage fright also. It is by doing breathing exercises. So before my competitions or contests, I do small breathing exercises like I inhale for 7 seconds and wait for 7 seconds, exhale for 7 seconds. Simple breathing exercises and techniques can really make sure that your anxiety level, your stress level and all those, adrenaline boosting level, everything comes down and you're settled and all right to go for your stage. Tip number 4. Record and listen. This is quite weird. Everybody tells go in front of a mirror and practice and see how your hand gestures work, how your eyes work, everything. But I personally prefer recording and listening because your content and your speech is all about how you talk and where you give your proper pauses and what is your speaking voice modulation all about. So this is what I personally think Some people might think it is all about hand gestures, how you use your stage, but all those comes naturally to me. So depending upon your preference, use this method or that method. But I prefer recording and listening to yourself can really make sure that you give the right pauses at the right time, and you make sure that you relieve your emotions and you feel that story each and every time whenever you tell that to your audience, even whenever you listen to it yourself. Tip number 5. Improvise from each speech. So if you have given speech number 1, you would have, even although you have prepared so much for your speech number 1, you would have missed on a few points in your speech number 1. So make sure you take a note of that points and improvise in your speech number 2. And make sure in speech number 2, if you miss on something, improvise that in speech number 3. So these points of improvisation that you do from 1 to your journey of how much ever speeches that you give throughout your life will make sure that you never have this stage fear whenever you're going on stage, and you give the best ever speech possible in your whole life. When a baby tries to stand up for the first time in its life, it does not stand up right on the first time. It tries to stand up, it falls down. It kneels to stand up, it falls down again. It holds on to some things to stand up, it falls down again. But it holds on again and again, and it stands up one day. So make sure that you hold on to your fear slightly and stand up and be successful in giving your speech one day. Alright, all the best, and subscribe to Sound the Talks for more public speaking videos, and give this video a big thumbs up if you like this content. And more contents upcoming. Stay tuned.